ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨ ਜਾਣਾ, ਸਾਰ ਨ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੇਰੀ। ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ, ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ। ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ, ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਆਪ ਜੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਵਡਭਾਗੀ ਹਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਧੰਨ 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 ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਕੱਤਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਹੁਣ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੁਝ ਸਮੇਂ ਲਈ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਤੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਥਾ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ। So ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, we are very blessed to have gathered into the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, the King of Kings, to reflect on their Bani, to reflect on their Itihas, with the aim of building that connection, building that love for Maharaj. As we've all potentially might have seen the poster today, we are going to try and reflect on the power of Gurbani. Now I want to start off with a shabad that we're probably all familiar with, and that is Anta na sifti, Gehana na Anta. And the reasons why I share this is because this task that we're going on today is an impossible task to do. But rather what this katha will hopefully do is open the doors, open the floodgates for us to explore the power of Gurbani for ourselves, for us to build that connection with Gurbani ourselves, because it's that personal connection with Gurbani that is going to save us in this world. Many have come and gone, and they've tried to explain the data, the greatness of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, of Vaheguru themselves, the Creator themselves, but they have failed. Many people have started that task, and many people have failed that task. And today, we're not even going to scratch the surface of the power of Gurbani. But what we can do is reflect on Itihas, where we've seen the power of Gurbani, and see how we can implement that into our lives. So what is Gurbani? We use this term very frequently, and often when we use something frequently, we often forget the importance and the value of it. Gurbani very simply breaks down into two words, two shabads. The first one being Guru, the second one being Bani. So who is the Guru and what is Bani? So the Guru is someone who takes us from good, darkness, to Ru, lightness. But what does that mean? Does that mean if we recite Gurbani in the dark, that suddenly there's going to be a light bulb that's just going to start shining? It's possible with Guru Sahib's blessings, and the power of Gurbani can do that. But when we talk about darkness and we talk about brightness, we're talking about our inner state, our inner consciousness. So when we reflect on darkness, the Guru is able to take us from a state of ignorance, a state where we forget who the Guru is. Often in our very busy lives, we forget to reflect on the Guru. We forget to remember the Guru. We forget to do Simran on the Guru. And as a result of that, what happens? As a result of that, we often become very scared. Anxiety creeps upon us, and we find ourselves in a very, you can say, fearful state. And it's when we have that dukh, is that time when we remember the Guru. And when we have that dukh, we often find ourselves coming into the sanctuary of the Guru, because we know when we come into the darbar of the Guru, the court of the Guru, we get their loving grace. We feel warm. And for a moment, we get a bit of peace. We get a bit of anand. And what are we trying to do? We are trying to grasp that anand and have that experience for forever. And the Guru paves that way. The Guru shows us how we can go from a state of darkness, of ignorance, to a place of consciousness where we can experience and learn from the Guru. And that's a great attribute that we have from the Guru. When we look at Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj did not come into this world and they did not start preaching. They did not go and start shouting at people. They did not shout. Rather, they went to places, they lived their life, and when people questioned Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, why are you doing X, Y, Z, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj responded and gave answers and gave teachings. That's the greatness of our Guru. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj showed a Guru Sikh how to live. And in doing that, they blessed us with Gurbani. They gave us the teachings of Gurbani. And we see that within, by Guru Das Sahib Ji's Vara, when we read that, when we reflect on the reasons for Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj coming into this world. And the reasons why they came was because all of the Siddhs, all of the saints, all of the spiritual people in this world, they did an ardas, they did a cry for the Guru. And what did the Guru do? What did the Creator do? They them sagli jint matai. These words are so powerful that they get rid of any of our chinta that we may have. And why do we have chinta? Why do we have anxiety? Why do we have stresses? It's often because we're living in that state of darkness. And what does the Guru do? They show us that light. By A, living that life, but B, through their Gurbani as well. And Bani, in its very simplest form, are the words. And this Bani is from that realm of Sachkhand, that realm of Sachai. Now, if we reflect for a moment and we ponder on why should we reflect on Gurbani? Why should we sit down and do Simran on this Bani that has come from Torah? Well, the answers are within Gurbani themselves. Maharaj says to us, and has blessed us with that Bani, where they say, Man tu jyot swaroop hai, apna mool pachan. Maharaj is saying to all of us, recognize your true form. We're trying to navigate through life, through this world, without even realizing who we are. And it's because we don't realize who we are, we end up trying to find this anand, this state of bliss, from places where we're only going to get hurt. We often try and find anand in, you can say, the panch jor, whether that's kaam, whether that's lust in our desires, whether it's grod, where it's getting angry, whether it's our love, whether it's our greed. We often think having more is better for us. But we end up through experience realizing that more can actually be harmful. Kaam, grod, lobh, more, our attachments. We feel like we're going to get khushiyan from our children, from our parents, from our grandparents, from our friends. But Maharaj reminds us that these people are going to come and go. And the only thing that is going to stay with you is your Guru. And who is our Guru? The Shabad is our Guru. And this is something that is very personal to me, which I find a lot of peace with. Where if we reflect with Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, the Siddhs asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj themselves, they said, who is your Guru? Now Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj did not leave it at that my Guru is Vaheguru, but they said that the Shabad is the Guru. They said the Shabad is the Guru, and they're the Chella of that Guru, and that their consciousness is on their Guru. And as a result of this, when we look and we reflect in Itihas, we see that the Gurus, they all had the Shabad at the forefront of their Guru. They always placed the Shabad in front of them. They always showed Satkar to the Shabad. And it's with this where Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, during their, you can say, marriage, they even gave Satkar to the Mool Mantar. They always put Gurbani at the forefront. Then we see the likes of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. When they blessed us with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj in the first form, they would sleep under the takhts, under the thrones, under the beds that were created for Maharaj, for Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Then if we reflect on Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj asked everyone in the Sangat, they pleaded with the Sangat, they said, is there any Gur Sikh here who can read one Japji Sahib Shuddh? And in the Sangat, one brave Gur Sikh stood up. They said to Maharaj, with their blessings, with their kirpa, they can try to. And that Guru Sikh was Bhai Gopala ji. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj showed so much satkar to Gurbani that they got off their own takht and they got Bhai Gopala ji and said, sit on the takht and I'll listen to your Bani. The Guru themselves lowered themselves and put, you can say, a Guru Sikh, a person, on the throne and said, you're going to read the Pavitra words of Gurbani. You deserve the highest honor, and that honor is sitting on the takht side. And Bhai Gopala ji recited the Bani of Japji Sahib very beautifully. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj wondered and pondered upon themselves, said, how can I reward this Guru Sikh who has recited Japji Sahib so greatly? Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj thinks about making them the king of this world. But Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj says to themselves that this Raj is going to come and go. They think about the Raj of the Devi Devte and they realize even that Raj is going to go. But the only thing that they could think that was worthy of the recitation of Japji Sahib that Bhai Gopala ji did was the Gurta Gaddi itself. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj were preparing themselves to get the tilak, to get the, you can say, saffron, and place the tilak on Bhai Gopala ji to make them the next Guru. But Bhai Gopala ji, whilst reciting Japji Sahib, had a furana, had a thought. And in that thought, they said, if the Guru is happy with me, they would ask and they would like to be rewarded with one of the horses that Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj were given. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj returned back to their seat, you could say, sat down in the Sangat. And after Bhai Gopala ji finished, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj gave a signal to the Sangat to bring the horses that Bhai Gopala ji desired. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj then went to say that Bhai Gopala ji, I was so happy with how beautifully you recited Gurbani, with the amount of love that you recited Gurbani, that I was prepared to give you the Gurta Gaddi. You was going to be the Guru. But due to your desire of having a horse, I'll bless you with that horse. But in that, Bhai Gopala ji also got the blessings of Brahm Gyan, where Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj was so pleased to say, look, you're going to get this horse that you had a desire for, but not only that, I'm going to bless you with that Gyan that is going to allow you to experience the presence of the Guru, the presence of that creator being Vaheguru. And Bhai Gopala ji from that day forward was known as a Brahmgyani Guru Sikh. And that's just with one Japji Sahib. That's how powerful Gurbani is. In a moment, Bhai Gopala ji's whole consciousness changed and they received Brahmgyan. And then we got the likes of other Guru Sikhs, where initially there might have been bandits, there might have been thieves, there might have been chor. And what happened to those type of Guru Sikhs? In Itihas, we come across a Bhai Sahib known as Bhai Lakhuji. And Bhai Lakhuji were known as a bandit. And what Bhai Lakhuji would do, they would hide, they would come out, they would shout out that they're Lakhu, and the people around would get scared and would give all of their possessions away. That's the reputation that Bhai Lakhuji had. On one occasion, they came across a Guru Sikh known as Bhai Paramveer. And Bhai Paramveer were sitting at the riverbanks and meditating on Akal Purakh. They were reciting and remembering that Guru. And Bhai Lakhuji realized that this person was very saintly. And instead of stealing from them, Bhai Lakhuji said, I'm going to go away, steal something, and present this to Bhai Paramveer. Bhai Lakhuji goes away, steals a lot of gold, and he comes and he offers that gold to Bhai Paramveer. And to say to Bhai Paramveer, I've given this as a donation to you. Please, can you do an ardas for me that I can get more wealth? Bhai Paramveer ji realized where this gold came from. He knew. And instead of accepting that gold and accepting that request to do an ardas, Bhai Paramveer ji cursed Bhai Lakhu ji. And it was in this moment that the Chor, the thief of Bhai Lakhu ji, realized his mistakes. And he asked for forgiveness. Bhai Paramveer ji said, return the gold and come with me. So when Bhai Lakhu ji returned the gold, they went with Bhai Paramveer ji all the way to the Guru at the current time, who is Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. With Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's kirpa, with their blessings, Bhai Lakhu ji became a Nityanemi Gursikh. They took steps towards their Guru, and eventually they became such a Nityanemi Gursikh. They were reciting prayers daily to the point where they were reciting Japji Sahib 21 times a day. And this was a bandit, this was a Jod, this you could say was one of the lowest people in the world. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj forgave them and blessed them with so much kirpa. And Bhai Lakhu ji were then sent to Lahore, where they resided for a very long time. And there they were blessed by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj to do the Prachar of Gurbani. So they did Prachar of Gurbani. But not only that, they maintained their Nityanam. They maintained the ability to do 21 Japji Sahibs daily. And they inspired other people to adopt the same name, to obtain the same routine of reciting Gurbani frequently. Bhai Lakhu ji would inspire other people to learn Japji Sahib. They would sit with them and help them to get Japji Sahib memorized. At the same time, in Guru Arjan Dev Ji's darbar, there was a Gursikh from Lahore. And he came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and he did a plea. His name was Bhai Buddha Ji. And this Gursikh said to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, they said, Maharaj, I've borrowed a lot of money in the efforts of making bricks. So he borrowed money, he made bricks, and these bricks had to be left alone for a time in order to make those bricks to become solid. So they went to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and they explained this dilemma. And it's something that we find ourselves doing often. We come into the sanctuary of Maharaj and we do an ardas. And we explain the worries that might be on our mind. And in that way, Guru Sahib said to Bhai Buddha Ji, said, your bricks will be strong. You'll be able to sell them for a great profit. But in order for this to happen, what you need to do is go back home, do an divan, like we may do right now, and set up a langar. Feed everyone who comes to that divan langar. Bhai Buddha Ji goes and he does the divan as per Guru Arjan Dev Ji's bachans, as their command. They do a langar, and halfway through that langar and towards the end, Bhai Lakhu Ji comes. And Bhai Lakhu Ji comes and asks for langar. But for Bhai Buddha Ji, he couldn't give him langar because he ran out. And Bhai Lakhu Ji said that because they were refused langar, their bricks, that Bhai Buddha Ji wants to be firm, wants the bricks to be strong, they'll actually be weak, they'll be soft. But Bhai Buddha Ji said, I've got the bachans, I've got the blessings of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. The Guru's bachans can never be returned. So Bhai Buddha Ji went and checked on his bricks, and those bricks turned out to be soft. Now imagine if we're wearing Bhai Buddha Ji's shoes. You have the Guru saying, if you do a divan, if you set up a langar, your bricks will be strong. And now you've had someone who isn't the Guru say to you that your bricks are going to be soft. And when you go to check them, your bricks are soft. Bhai Buddha Ji didn't understand this. So they went to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and they explained this. And they had the question of how powerful the Guru is. They said to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, are your bachans not true? Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said and asked Bhai Buddhaji, did you serve everyone in the congregation langar? And Guru Arjan Dev Ji reminded them, they said there was one Gursikh that you did not feed langar, that you did not give langar to. And he said, that is my Nityanaming Gursikh by Lakhuji. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said that by Lakhuji is a Nityanaming Gursikh where they recite Japji Sahib 21 times a day. And what are the rewards of reciting so much Gurbani? One reward is that whatever Guru Sikhs say, that becomes true. And now they've said a Guru Sikh has used the power of Gurbani to say these bachans, to say that these bricks will remain soft. So they have to remain soft. Then Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said to Bhai Buddhaji, they said, go back and do another langar and make sure that everyone eats. Bhai Buddhaji goes and serves everyone langar. Then some time passes by and one of the walls around Lahore collapses. And the person in charge of maintaining that wall was struggling to find bricks. Bhai Lakhuji at this time had bricks that were strong and firm. And so where no one else in Lahore had bricks, Bhai Buddhaji did. And so Bhai Buddhaji were able to sell his bricks for a greater price. And this is the power of Gurbani, where Bhai Lakhuji's words came true. But the second teaching in this is to never doubt the Guru and never doubt the Guru's tests. Because Bhai Buddhaji received more than they would have received originally. In this way, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's bachans, the Guru's bachans remained true. Not only that, but the Guru Sikhs who recited Gurbani, even their bachans came true. That's the power of Gurbani. If we reflect on Sukhmani Sahib, how powerful is Sukhmani Sahib, a Bani that we read on a weekly basis, all around Guru Kars. There was a time during Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji's Sikh Empire where there was a battle, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji heard that their generals had died within this battle. So they themselves wanted to go into battle to help their soldiers, help the force that was there fighting. Upon on their journey, they came across a river, and this river was flowing very quickly, very vigorously, and it was almost impossible to cross, rather it was impossible to cross that river. And Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji stopped, and Bhai Veer Singh Ji, they asked Maharaja Ranjit Singh why they stopped. Having seen the dilemma, Baba Veer Singh Ji said, let's recite Sukhmani Sahib. And when they recited Sukhmani Sahib, that river that was flowing vigorously, violently, calmed down. And the level of that water came to such a level, to such a low level. In Itihas, it says the water reached knee level, where then the armies, the Singhs, the soldiers were able to cross that water. That's another moment in our Itihas where we see the power of Gurbani. And there's countless sakhiyan with this. Another sakhi that's just come into my mind is the time where there was a faqir. And this faqir did a lot of jabatap. He did a lot of meditation. But what he wanted in the world was power. And what he was able to do was something that was very scary. He was able to control the minds of individuals. He was able to control the bodily actions of individuals. This faqir turned into a cannibal, where he would get individuals, turn them upside down, kill them, and eat them. So everyone in this area realized the danger that this fakir, or rather this cannibal had now. This cannibal was killing people, anyone who would come into his path. There was a Gurasik from the Nirmala Samprada. So this Nirmala was walking through, and he did not know of this fakir, of this cannibal. So he walked into, you can say, the area where this cannibal resided. And that fakir then looked at that Nirmala and said that it's my opportunity to play a game and kill this individual. They go to that individual and they say to that Nirmala, they say, do you want to see a trick? And that Nirmala said, show me that trick. And so that fakir, that cannibal, gets a string. And with that string, he passes it to that fakir. The Nirmala. And now that Nirmala is holding that piece of string. And that piece of string turns into a metal rod. And then that metal rod gets set on fire. Gets lit. And that fire is now getting closer and closer to that Nirmala. And that Nirmala was an Abhyasi. He was someone who would recite Gurbani frequently. And he would recite the Shabads of Mool Mantar frequently. And so that Nirmala recited Mool Mantar. And what happened as a result of that? That fire turned back. It turned back and it went to the source. Who was the source? It was that cannibal, it was that fakir. And that's the power of just Mool Mantar, where that Nirmala just recited Mool Mantar and he was able to counteract all of the tapasya, all of the meditation that this cannibal did. And that's how great Gurbani is. That's how powerful Gurbani is. The simplest shabads have, you can say, the greatest effect. So what should we do? We should try and take inspiration from these sakya, from these stories. But more importantly, let's try and reflect on Gurbani. Because it's a Gurbani that is saying to us, recognize your true origin. Recognize that we're not this body. And the only way we can do that is by doing Simran, is by meditating on that Creator. And we can do this in many ways. We often look at Sikhi, and we look at Sikhi as something that is hard to do. But Gurbani says the opposite. Gurbani says that Sikhi is all about effort. Where another pankti that we recite every single day is Gaviya, Suniya, Mana Rakhiya, Pao. One of the very first instructions in Sikhi is to sing Gaviya, even if we do not know and even if we do not understand the words that we're reciting. What do we get as we're singing this Bani? It's similar to a mother or a father that may get happy at a child, at a baby who's just babbling. A baby may not know how to say any words, but as soon as it starts mumbling, the parents get happy. And in the same way, when we sing, regardless of whether we understand what we're singing, Maharaj gets happy at the uddam that we're putting in. And that's all we're trying to do. We just need to get the kushiyan of our Guru. What's the second instruction? Gaviya, Suniya. The second instruction is then to listen. Regardless of whether we understand or not. But then we can take the sahara, we can take the support of Katha. Sun har Katha utari mel. Whereby listening to the Katha of Parameswar, of Hari Parameswar, of that Creator, all of our male, all of our karam that we've created, that we've got with us from the beginning of time, all of those actions get wiped away. And why is listening to Katha important? Is because with Katha, we'll get the understanding of Gurbani. We start to understand the Guru's words. And we're very privileged to be in a country where we can listen to Katha in both Punjabi and English. We're very fortunate to go on YouTube and listen to the Katha of a great Mahapurush. We are able to listen to the Katha of Gurbani in English on YouTube or SoundCloud or Spotify, whatever it may be. Point is, Maharaj has made Sikhi very accessible to everyone. And when we sing, when we listen, what is the second thing? What's the third thing? Gaviye, suniye, man. Start believing in them. Understand what your Guru is saying and start believing in them. If you believe in something, you do it. If we believe in the power of Gurbani, then our actions should reflect that. When we leave this darbar, our first thought shouldn't be what we're going to eat when we get out home, but rather it should be that we believe in the power of Gurbani. Now let's try and earn that Gurbani. What do I mean when I say we have to earn that Gurbani? It's a bit like going to a gym, where if we were to go to the gym for the first time, it may be difficult to jog on that, you can say, treadmill for more than 10 minutes. But if we practice for a month, we can then come back to it, and then in a month's time, we may be able to jog for half an hour. In the same way, if we start with Simran in the same way, if we start to do Simran for 1 minute every single day, after a week, we'll be able to do 5 minutes. Then after a month, we'll easily be able to do 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. There's no ceiling on this. But we have to believe in it. And if we truly believe in it, we have to act on it. Gaviye suniye man rakhiye pao. And this is where a lot of people, you can say, miss the opportunity to connect with Guru Sahib. Because we sing, we may listen, we may believe that we understand, but the most important thing is the act. Mana rakhiye pao. And what do we get? By completing those actions, by remembering that Guru, by listening to that Katha, by doing Seva, by doing Simran, we get pao, we get love with Maharaj. Or rather, we get love for Maharaj. And when you're in love with someone, especially Maharaj, our actions that may have started off as being difficult to do become very easy to do. And that's what the true essence, the true power of Gurbani is to develop that love for Maharaj. It develops love in you. And that's what we're seeking. We're seeking that love for Maharaj so that we can do that prema bhakti, to do that loving devotion with Maharaj. But that has to start somewhere. And it's as easy as saying Vaheguru. The more we say it, the closer we get to Maharaj. And if we're serious about building our connection with our Guru, what should we try and do? Many great Mahapurush, the likes of Sant Baba Nand Singh Ji, the likes of Sant Baba Ishar Singh Ji, they've all said that if you want to connect and build that connection with Guru Sahib, one thing that you can do is start off by reciting Mool Mantra daily. If we do 6 male every single day, within the month is the equivalent of reading the entirety of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Now then that gives us an aim. The aim and the objective becomes to recite Mool Mantra frequently. If we can't recite Mool Mantra, then we can start off with listening to Mool Mantra. We can start to learn how to recite Gurbani. But if we can't do any of them, if that seems as a struggle, Maharaj has made it easier. The Mahapurush have given us another jukti, another way of getting closer to Guru Sahib. And that's by reciting the Shabad Vaheguru. And if you recite Vaheguru with a rosemary bead that has 108 beads 80 times in a day, that's the equivalent of reciting the entirety of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect with Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We're trying to get the power that Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj has to offer for us. So with all of this in mind, I invite everyone for just 1 minute to come together and reflect and remember that Creator who is Vaheguru. And let's start by doing 1 minute of Simran. And let's start today. Let's start now. And let's continue that practice when we leave this darbar. So please join in. It will only be for a minute. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Sangataji, that's all we need to do. So, whilst doing the Katha, Das would have made many, many mistakes. If I've offended anyone in any way, please do forgive me. It wasn't my intention. Before I do Samapti, and before we do Samapti of the Katha, I just want to share a very small announcement that for the next hour, there'll be a talk in English, expanding on the few concepts that we've talked on during the Katha. So exploring more Gurbani Shabads, more Sakhiyan, all to do with how we can build that connection with our Guru, how we can walk with our Guru, because that's what we're trying to do. So if anyone can, please join us. But for the Katha, please forgive me for all of my mistakes. Bhul chuk maaf karna. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa. Vaheguru ji ki fateh.